Okay. Miranda?
Yes.
So good again.
Hi, everyone again. I'm Miranda. So I have a real interest of alopecia and how it's linked to well-being, and I've sort of trawled through loads and loads of research documents and just really looking for some answers. And what I've noticed is that there is a big link between both mental and physical wellness. So been fascinated, but all my life really I've had quite an interest in sport. I played a very random sport at international level, which is lacrosse. No one ever.
Not one of the normals, but
no. Played lacrosse for Wales, and just have always been, love swimming, tennis, all sorts of.
No, you know what? I am athletic, but I don't know what lacrosse is. Like, how do you play?
It's actually quite big in America. The way I always say it, if you've seen the film American Pie, they play it in that.
Yeah, that's a while ago.
It's a stick with a hard ball, and it's actually one of the fastest. I think it is the fastest ball sport on 2 feet.
Is it more like javelin or?
No, it's a team sport. You throw a ball between each other, and then you have to throw it into a net. A bit like hockey, but with a net. Really,
that's cool. That's really good.
Yeah. And now I do a lot more like fitness and cycling and running. So.
Oh, that's great. I'll go to Faith. I'll change the narrative.
Well, I've always danced, so that's always my form of exercise, really, and that's my way of kind of letting go of everything and be myself. So that always releases frustrations and emotions that way. And recently over lockdown, I've grown into liking fitness and running, a bit of weights, obviously before the gym's closed. So yeah, I know last week I took my first fitness class. So I actually taught my first fitness class to the uni students, which was amazing, and I really enjoyed that. So yeah, it's a nice way to just do something other than, I don't know, it's gonna break your day up really at the moment. So that's why I'm interested in fitness, because it's keeping me active and motivated. In terms of nutrition, I came back from a holiday a few years ago. It was like 2017-16, and I was really pale, which obviously worried my mum and family, and I went to get a blood test, came back as really positive for celiac disease, which is a gluten intolerance, just a fancy way of saying it really. And once I took gluten out of my life and out of my diet, my hair did start to grow back. But obviously just through other stress and other things, it's completely gone again. But yeah, I know I feel the nutrition and what you fuel your body is a massive reason to how your body reacts to it. And I know that from the early years of my alopecia, gluten was a secret reactor to my hair, I feel anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Oh, that's quite, I think we're going to go more into that because that's quite interesting. A lot of people right now are changing their diets, and I think it's really important to start speaking about what we put into our bodies. And I think in connection with alopecia, there's a lot of misinformation out there, and there's a lot of people as well trying to take advantage by offering solutions that are not even effective. But I think with any type of whether it's illness, any type of mental health related problem, you need fitness and your diet looked at, I think, for you to at least start the first stages of coping with with whatever it is that you're going through. Yasmin, tell us a bit of what you do.
So I am a personal trainer, have been for the past 6 years, have always kind of been into sport and fitness, grew up in all the team sports. So when I was at school, I did everything, a bit of football, a bit of rugby, a bit of athletics, any team sport that I could get into, or any sport, I was always at the front of the line. So that was an easy path for me to then get into fitness as part of like my career and things like that. and now have moved a bit out of just fitness and more into the health side of things. So working specifically in mental health, and using exercise as a way of kind of helping people to combat either the more comorbidities that come with medication because of mental health and things like that. And it's really good because you see a really good positive effect of people coming in one mood, doing their gym session and everything that you kind of prescribed for them, and then you can see a complete change in their aura as soon as they finished. So exercise in mental health is obviously a huge thing, everyone knows that, but I think even specifically for alopecia, mental health, physical health, everything all ties into one. Like, it's a holistic thing. So your mind and your body, kind of everything has to be in tune with each other to get a good result. I know the gym is my safe haven. I can put my headphones on, I can zone out, and that's kind of just my place to leave whatever stresses I've had from the day in the gym, lift some heavy weights. I don't have to worry about what anyone else is doing, and I can kind of just be in my own zone. And that definitely helps for me. But then carrying on from what Faith said in terms of nutrition, gluten, wheat, lactose, all of it. I'm intolerant to all of it. Yeah, it's and a lot more. I've got a lot more other allergies and intolerances as well. But the body definitely reacts to it. If you're putting something into your body that your body doesn't like, it's going to react in different ways, whether it's physically with how you look or how your body's just digesting things, and how it's going to affect your hair in our case as well. I know when I was younger, and obviously my mum was the one giving me food and stuff, when my hair started falling out, she was like, okay, fruit, vegetables, all that kind of stuff, we need to start putting that into your diet a lot more. I ate it a lot anyway. She was very strict with that, but I had to have more and make sure I was getting iron and zinc and all of that kind of stuff. That definitely had a positive impact on my hair's ability to grow back. And then obviously throughout the years, it's just gone up and down. It grows back, then it falls out and all that kind of stuff. But being able to work on the things that you can control, so what you're eating and your exercise and all that kind of stuff, will definitely have an impact.
Yeah.
Miranda, have you had any allergies? Because I seem to find common grounds between Faith and Yasmin.
Yeah. So when I started doing a diet now 18 months ago called the autoimmune protocol, so AIP diet, I don't know if
I have not heard of that before.
I've not heard of that one.
And it's effectively, it's an elimination diet. So I had all the tests, I'd had blood tests, everything was fine, like my vitamin D levels were all fine. But and then I did get tested to see if I had a gluten intolerance, because I read that there was quite a big link between alopecia and celiac disease. I don't, but that's not to say that, you know, I don't have intolerances, because sometimes, you know, these things don't come up as actual, what's the word? Like, well, celiac is a disease, is that right, Faith? It's classified as a disease.
It's where you're told not to have gluten for your own health benefits, because there'll be internal things going on. So for your own health, like, just don't have gluten. But you have people that have like a gluten sensitivity.
Yeah, and so I eliminated everything, like all dairy, anything with refined sugar, which was really hard.
That's a lot.
Yeah, that is a lot. But then I started educating myself, because you start looking at the back of the packets, and it's terrifying what is in this stuff. So just as an example, okay, so really what it left me is that this diet is that it's very heavy in protein. So I was eating a lot of chicken, a lot of meat, and as a snack, sometimes I would get those pre-cooked chicken thighs and drumsticks and things. I had no idea for ages, I was eating these for lunch and things, the amount of sugar and rubbish that is pumped into those. You know, it's just chicken. So all this time I thought I was being really good and not eating sugar. I was actually pumping my body full of loads of it. But what I did notice after doing this diet I did it in the end for 6 months, but 8 weeks after I started doing it, not only did my energy levels just soar through the roof. But my clarity of mind, it totally transformed me, sort of mentally, and then physically my hair started growing back. Now there were quite a few different other factors going on. So I was pregnant, which you hear a lot of people's hair with alopecia, their hair grows back when they get pregnant. And also I was taking autoimmune suppressants at the time, which that's a whole other story. So I don't know what made it grow back, because then it fell out again. But I now I just stick on the autoimmune diet. So I don't have any gluten, dairy, or refined sugar, apart from I allow myself one cheat day, which probably defeats it, but I have to have some chocolate at some point.
It's all about the balance.
Yeah,
You've got to
exactly.
treat yourself.
Exactly.
It's very challenging, I guess, to constantly go in a supermarket and check. I mean, I personally, I've tried to have a PT and she was very helpful, but I think I found it hard keeping track of what she had asked me to keep track of. And obviously, even though I come from a very athletic background, I think that a lot of people do find it hard to follow the actual steps that are required to stay and feel healthy. This reminds me to pose this question, because each and every one of you has said that you are into one sport or the other. So it means that you're quite fit, physically. And I know sports helped me throughout my life to cope with so many challenges. And that's why I keep up with my cycling right now and my running and my long walks. Is it the sport, obviously going to Yasmin, who's kind of dealing with fitness and mental health, is it the sporting element, you being athletic, that's helping you cope with alopecia? Or is it something that obviously you could catch on later on, like start sports and then cope better with alopecia, if that makes sense? I don't know if I'm asking the question right. I think because I've done sports for a long time, I've been able to cope with problems all my life easier than most people without getting too mentally stressed. But I'm wondering if you teaching people fitness and mental health is helping them after they found out they've got some sort of problem, or is it something that I don't know if that makes sense. I don't know if you got one of you understands what I'm trying to say. Has sport helped you all along, or is it something that you've had to find to be able to cope better with alopecia?
I say it can work in both ways. I guess if you're already into sport and fitness and whatever in that kind of way, if you do it just for the enjoyment of sport, that's great. But obviously, it's a good outlet. Whatever it is for you, it's a good outlet. So having that outlet and knowing what your thing to do is and how to manage your mental health or whatever you're going through, having that there ready, and then going through alopecia means that you already have something that you can use to then have that outlet, rather than not having any knowledge of, okay, I'm stressed or I'm feeling this type of way. Now I've got this big thing that's come into my life and now I don't know what to do. And then you're trying to figure it out as you're going through the process at the same time. So I say for me, having those outlets and knowing that sport and fitness and going to the gym has a positive effect on me. And then having this barrier that was put in front of me, having alopecia, I already knew, okay, yes, there's this big thing in front of me, but I know that I have this way out, or at least to help me kind of cope when I need to at the same time.
So where did you get that confidence? Because I think when you first get diagnosed with hair loss, whether it's alopecia short term or long term, you lose your confidence and you kind of withdraw and avoid engaging with most people outside, apart from your family and the doctors. Where did you get the actual push to go to the gym? Because I know even people without hair loss find it hard to go to the gym, just to take that step out, because the actual everyone says that at the gym people will stare at you, people will judge you if you've put on a lot of weight. There's a lot of Instagram models going to the gym. I'm embarrassed to go. So those are the barriers. But how do you get yourself to overcome those barriers and actually go to the gym,
Yeah.
what are some of the tips that you have? I'll kind of pose this question to everyone because you're all into some sort of sporting activity. How do you start? Where do you get the support from?
It's not easy.
No,
It's not like you just wake up and you're like, oh, I'm confident today. When I got it, I was young. I didn't know what alopecia was. I think I was in year 9, so I might have been about 13 years old. Hair started falling out, and I was just like, what is this? I've never heard of this before. Then I've got to go to school and have people, not even that people was physically asking me questions, but feeling like someone's staring at me because they don't know what it is and I don't know what it is. So even if they ask me, I'm going to be kind of stopped in my tracks and not know what to say. So I think it's an ongoing process of learning to be confident. It doesn't happen overnight. Luckily for me, when it first happened, my hair didn't fall out all at once. So I had ways of trying to hide it and things like that, which was a stress in itself, because you're waking up, already got to go to school and get ready, but then I had to start getting up a bit earlier because I was like, okay, it's going to take me even longer to do my hair and do this and do that. So it's definitely, it's a learning process. And then, as I said, when we spoke on the phone, I only shaved my hair off last year. So what date is it? What date is it today? 6 in 10 days is my anniversary of shaving off my hair. So
Wow.
yeah, it's been a year, and I had to learn confidence when I first got alopecia, and then I had to relearn more confidence when I first shaved off my hair. So I've been confident. I can go to the gym normally and be completely fine. I have clients and they will come to me and say, oh, I'm not confident to go into the weights area because I feel like that's the men's area and things like that. And I can give them all the advice to be like, no one's going to the gym to stare at you. But then I had to then tell myself that as well, because now I've shaved off my hair. For me, I felt like a different person. Like someone can look at me when I had my hair and that's Yasmin, but they see me without hair and that's Yasmin 2.0. That's someone completely different. So I had to relearn confidence to walk out onto that gym floor and be like, okay, this is me. I don't have hair, but I'm still the same person and I've still got to go and do what I have to do in the gym because that was my outlet.
Yeah.
Well, I quite like what you said there, that confidence is not just built in one day. I think it's easy to look at other people and see them doing great, whether it's on social media, looking confident, and think, what's wrong with me? I'm not confident. And a step back and not try to be confident. But I think what you've just said is just that little step, day by day, just say, okay, today I'll go for a little walk outside. And then that will probably turn into you progressing to going to the gym. I think maybe that's quite a really good advice. I think to go by. I don't know, Faith, what are your thoughts on confidence and the gym? And I know you said you've only just started with your weights. What drove you to kind of progress? I know dancing is a lot of exercise and fitness, but the gym is a different ball game altogether.
Yeah, it's completely different because you can isolate single muscles. Well, that's how I find it anyway. I can just like, even though you're working your whole body, you can focus on areas, even though it'll work everything. Whereas dance, you're constantly moving, like you're constantly moving. You can't really get a break in any area. But I think for me, my confidence really came when I went to uni. Because I knew that that's what I wanted to do, and that was like my element really. I didn't have to almost like pretend to enjoy something that I wasn't enjoying. So in high school, I remember really disliking PE lessons and actually hating fitness at one point because I was in my wig and I was in my headband and they would be falling off and sliding all over the place. And that's what really pushed me away from wanting to do fitness and exercise in my wig and then wear my headband, but then that would still slide around, so people would still notice like the bald patches, and then the questions would come along with that as well. So I think the more you grow up with it, it's just like the more you grow in confidence as well. And I think the big key is like accepting that it's happening. I know for me, I didn't want to accept that my hair was falling out, so that was a big like limitation for me, to just like pretend it's not happening and just ignore it, where you really can't ignore it. Because I know my mum was a big supporter within my dancing, because going to dancing, I had to put my hair up in a bun, and all the time I'd be like, no, I can see a bald patch there, like it's not covering up. So sorry, so that would be the big tantrum, as per se, before I go to dance. But then once I got to uni and then realised that, you know what, everyone's here to dance, everyone's adults here, like there's going to be no talking behind your backs going on, hopefully, which there wasn't. And I think it's just accepting it. And again, it's like you can't just wake up and be like, yeah, fine. It is like a massive learning curve, and just experiencing more is what built my confidence up as well. And then when I started going to the gym, I never went to the gym in my wig, and that's what kind of stopped me from going to the gym, because of past experiences in high school with wigs sliding around and headbands sliding around. So that's why I refrained from the gym. So I only really started going when I did shave my hair, which was fairly recently as well, only about a year and a bit ago. And yeah, but I think at the moment at the gym, it's like, why am I sweating so much? Because you can see everything, because you've got no hair to soak it up. So that, for me, that's the bit I've got to overcome at the moment. Like, I'm sweating so much, everyone's looking at me and I'm sweating so much.
And I don't know about you, because Faith, I can't remember if you've got your eyelashes still. It looks like you have, but
yeah, I found some, so I've tried them on today.
Great, well done.
But the Miranda recommended eyelashes.
Yeah. But the worst, when I lost my eyelashes and my eyebrows, the worst thing about exercise was the sweat on my eyes, and I wear contact lenses, so then everything would like blur, the contact lenses would dislodge. So actually I found that going to the gym, initially I didn't have the confidence and I thought everyone was staring at me, but by the time I was actually exercising, I was so distracted with the sweat and like that I forgot that no one really was looking at me anyway.
Yeah, I never thought how like helpful your eyelashes were until you've not got any and you're like, oh my god, sweat's going in there and it burns. Oh
yeah.
To be honest, like, I sweat a lot at the gym. I've literally done a lot of research on how how to stop sweating, you know, like doing really ice cold drinks and stuff like that. But like, to listen to, you know, Miranda and Faith speak about the detail of sweat, because sweat, it stings when it goes in your eyes. It's like lemons in your eyes. I think that
moisturizer or something on, because then that really stings.
So how do you then? How is it that the fake lashes that help? Do they help getting your lashes done? What helps? Like, because obviously sweat does sting when it goes in your eyes. Could that be a barrier then for anyone that wants to start going to the gym that's got alopecia?
I've never tried fake eyelashes in the gym because I've normally come straight from uni and not really got any makeup on. So I've not really had anything on my face. So I don't know if fake eyelashes.
Do you keep wiping your face?
Yeah, so I have a towel. So that I can, you know, keep dabbing my head, but also caps really help. Baseball caps are brilliant because they sort of absorb it and
that's a good one.
Yeah,
Miranda, literally everyone should send Miranda a DM, because she's like, she knows all the suppliers for for different little things.
But the other thing I was going to say about exercise earlier, when you were saying how do you build confidence, like, it did take me quite a while to get back into my gym, but there are so many other sports, you know, like swimming, for instance. And I've spoken about this because I was the one asking questions about swimming. Do you like, because it's really cold as well, so it's the opposite, you know, you do feel the cold much more with a bald head, but you can wear a swimming hat and not, you know, just really fitting, because so many people wear swimming hats when they go and do swimming. So I think there are others, you can be a bit creative about like trying other sports if you don't quite feel confident enough to just go to the gym. Try other sports that don't necessarily, you can wear headwear that might sort of help build you up to then being bald in that public environment.
Yasmin, as someone who spends a lot of time in the gym, what do you think the gyms, because I know gyms are very commercial, like they will go by the trends, they'll cater for the majority, which is you know, the general sort of people who are not experiencing any sort of limitations. But as someone who's got alopecia, and you spend most of your time helping clients and in the gym, and I know we're going to speak a bit more about some of the, I know Miranda has to go, but I think I would just move fast to speak about some of the projects that you're doing, which would actually be of interest with people with alopecia and fitness. What is it that you think gyms could add to their service of what they provide to help people with alopecia exclusively enjoy their experience while they're in the gym? Because obviously that's part of their role as corporate firms or businesses, to make sure that everyone that goes in has the best experience. What do you think, having been in the gym for a long time? Not everyone experiences insecurities with gyms, but just alopecia exclusively. What have you noticed that could add to the experience for it to be positive?
That's a tough question, because I've never thought about in that kind of way of what gyms can do specifically. But then I guess if we start thinking about what they can do specifically for people with alopecia, then you've got to kind of think about inclusivity of everyone with any kind of disorder or something like that.
It's a hard one. It's a hard one. But I think what I've noticed within the community, why I've asked this question, is that I think within the alopecia community, we tend to take a bit of, I think we don't fight for what we want. You know, people with hair loss don't fight for what they want. People within all kinds of communities, whether it's the curved community, are always constantly fighting the press to get their, their sort of get noticed within the public. So I think why I ask this question is, I think it's very important for corporate organizations to know what their responsibilities are when it comes to people with alopecia. And I think if you've been to the gym, I think I could ask this to Faith as well, or Miranda. You've just spoke about things like having to carry a towel. If there was a towel ready there waiting for you, and it was your first day going to the gym, and then you panic because you don't know that the sweat will sting in your eyes, wouldn't it be nice to just have a nice towel ready waiting for you exclusively? I know it sounds a lot to ask, but that's what businesses should be doing. That's their social responsibility, to make sure exclusively that they provide a service that includes whatever, sort of demographic it is. And it sounds like a lot to ask, like things like you having to take off your wig as and when you want to, without feeling as though someone is looking at you. Couldn't gym provide things like classes exclusively for people with alopecia, which is something that you spoke about on the phone last time as well, Yasmin, that you're thinking of doing events that are exclusively targeting, the community because of certain little issues that are out there, that they're not events and they're no I think you could touch on to that and kind of connect it to what I've just said, if that makes sense.
No, definitely. It was something I was thinking about in terms of working with Alopecia UK or just people with alopecia, just hosting like a fitness event where people are comfortable to come with no wigs on, with wigs on. If they have a wig on, they're hot, they can take it off and throw it to the side if they want to. But just
Miranda will love that.
But like just a safe space where they don't have to feel like people are watching them, or they have to feel self-conscious about what they want to do in the moment. It's taken me a long time, but I've definitely got to the point where sometimes if I'm like, you know what, when I had hair and I used to wear a ponytail to hide the back, if the ponytail was too much, I was like, sorry, whoever's around me, it needs to come off, because it's too much. You can get sweaty with being bald and all that kind of stuff, but I don't sweat too much like that. My thing was I would sweat too much if I had like my ponytail on or the wig, and it was just too much, especially with wigs, because once you've glued them down, sometimes that sweat, and then I start to just feel it going back and back, and I'm like, oh, I've got to put it forward. But I think it's good to, I think, have a community where you can just feel comfortable in yourself. So having something like the classes where everyone can kind of attend and just be comfortable would be good. In commercial gyms, I think it could be good to maybe have that safe space again when people can do classes, but then you also want to be careful not to, what am I trying to say? Not to have everyone in one place where they feel like, oh, I can only go to this class now because I have alopecia and I can't join in the other one because I'm going to put a stick out like a sore thumb, in that kind of sense. So it's kind of like a grey area where you don't want to just say this is only for you and now you can't come to this one, but giving people an option to say we're going to put this forward for you so you can feel more comfortable, but at the same time you can do you and go to wherever you want to in the gym and still be comfortable.
Mm-hmm. I guess that's a tricky one because you have to do research and see how many people got to the gym with alopecia and kind of target it correctly. So it's just almost, I think I asked this question because if someone is watching out there and they run a gym and they had no knowledge at all of what alopecia is and what the experiences are of people with alopecia, they could incorporate certain things into their classes that will encourage people with alopecia to go out. Just like they do when you're curvy, and they encourage you to take on slimming classes, slimming diets and things like that. The little things I think do help. I don't know, what do you think, Faith?
I think it's, again, just the lack of awareness at the moment. And I think that's why, because I know I'd use a little hand towel when I go to the gym, and sometimes when I forget it, I'm like, oh no, then I've got to use my hoodie, and then it's a mess. So I think obviously it would be nice if there was a towel there, but I think as well that's for the gym side of it, that'll become costly for them, and obviously COVID is an issue as well, so whether that's even allowed to be a thing at the moment,
actually
on. But like, I know, and that does sound like a really nice idea, to get like everyone involved and feel comfortable. I just think that, yeah, I think that it would be fine for people to take the wig off when they feel like it, if they're confident enough, you know. Because if I was to go to the gym a few years ago in high school, or even college, when you're more of age to allowed to go to a gym, I know that I would be in a wig, and I wouldn't feel confident enough to take it off, and I'd deal with it. But then on stage, when I'm performing and I've been in a wig and I've done like a 3-hour show or something, and again, I used to have a wig that it would stick to my head. I'd feel it slide in, and I'm like, I can't stick it back on again because I'm too sweaty and nothing won't stick on again. But obviously, everyone there knew I was wearing a wig, so they were comfortable and they'd help me. And if I needed to restyle it, they'd be there as well. But I think again, it's just everyone having an awareness of alopecia, and I think that's what will help people grow in confidence if they do want to take the wig off or the headband off, which I used to wear, or the cap off, you know, if they were wearing that as well. I think it's just the awareness of it going forward.
Yeah, because I completely agree, Faith. I think it's less about putting people with alopecia on a pedestal and treating us differently, because that might have the tendency to ostracize a little bit more. But imagine a gym that, like, I don't know, once a month had this like celebration of everyone, you know, but it would be great to see someone with alopecia be celebrated for their strength or their reps or whatever, because actually I think there is a misconception in the exercise and fitness world that people with alopecia are weak or have some sort of weakness. There is also a misconception about alopecia that we have a lower immune system. Actually, we have a really great immune system. It's in overdrive because that's you know, that's the reason it's attacking the hair follicles. So it's an education piece. And if you could celebrate someone with alopecia because they are, you know, that month they did this amazing fitness challenge or whatever, it would show, people would be like, oh right, okay, so then they're not weaker, they don't have this lowered immune system, they're just the same as us. They can, that's a way to be, I think, a way for a gym or a corporation to be much more inclusive.
I really like that, because I think that goes back to, I just kind of connected with history when women were seen to be incapable of working as fire women and doing this and doing that. And then the perception changed when women were shown doing a lot of sports that required a lot of physical strain and, getting involved in activities that men did, and then the perception just changed. I really like that you've kind of highlighted that detail, because I, for one, have been looking for images of women with alopecia actually in the UK. And I've seen some great images of charities and the work that charities are doing, but I haven't seen images that look like they're celebrating alopecia in terms of this woman is absolutely stunning, or this woman is, a challenge to do this and she did it. And I think what Miranda said is so important, because once we challenge, we kind of show women doing what you guys are doing, Yasmin being a fitness instructor in her work, teaching people how to be healthy and live a healthy lifestyle, then people learn more about alopecia and what it is that alopecia is and who the people are behind alopecia. And I personally do not like the images that I find online, which are showing people with alopecia posed in a really really, I don't know, how do you call, vulnerable position, whether it's in a fitness shoot or a fashion shoot, they're always posed in a really vulnerable position. But actually, if we change the narrative and start showing women in alopecia lifting weights, dancing, or like Miranda said, doing a challenge for any charity, like going for the longest cycle, that you can go on, I think that would be such a good thing. And I'll pick that one up for Hair Heals as well for future projects. I have said that to Yasmin, the part of sort of the long-term plans for Hair Heals is to be able to host events that will be so unique, that are not being done currently within other charitable organizations. And I know I won't say what we're doing now because we're recording, but obviously I'll speak to you guys about this, more ideas that are coming up. But I know that there's a limitation of events, especially in the wellness and fitness sectors in the UK. Does anyone, I know obviously Faith does dance, it would be nice to have dance classes. Yasmin is looking to do fitness classes. Do you have any ideas or any projects that you would like to see that will help enhance the health, wellness, mental well-being of people with alopecia that you've seen, whether it's outside the UK or that you've just had in your head and you've gone, oh, that would be nice. That would be nice if our community did that. I'll start with Miranda, going back to you, because you were saying you had some good points there about showcasing people in a positive light. Before we finish, by the way.
So are you asking from a fitness challenges type things?
It could be anything within their fitness. I think if we explored the fitness more, what you've said is so important. Like you said, if there was a charity challenge where someone with alopecia could cycle from here to, from London to God, look, I'm speaking in the forms of as if you're here. Say from the northwest to London, that shows them in a good light, within the press and within the public. So those ideas need to constantly be reinforced and spoken about. Do you have any that you think, oh, that would be nice if I did that, or if someone did that?
Well, one thing that there was a lot of great activity being done around alopecia awareness month in September, and I saw people who'd never been running were running 5 kilometers every day, because it was and building up to 15, because it was the 15th anniversary for Alopecia UK. So there were lots of creative things. I ended up doing a 150-kilometer bike ride. I have a spin bike at home, so I did that, and I did a 15-kilometer run, and then I did a 1,500-meter swim. So I did like a triathlon using the 15. But there's so much stuff. I'll tell you, as in bringing people together, what I'd really like to see more of is getting the medical world involved in anything we do. So getting doctors to come in and speak and answer questions. I listened to an amazing podcast yesterday. I don't know if you know the Alopecia Project. It's 2 Canadian.
The US one?
Yeah, Canadian. Well, they're Canadian, yeah.
Oh, okay. I've listened to that one. It's really good.
It's really good. And they had a doctor on who came to answer the questions. And I think if you could, because it's about, to me, it's about really addressing those unspoken things that, like I just talked about earlier, about alopecians not being able to compete to the same level. Alopecians,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if we should say that. People
That's
with
a hashtag, so let's use it's a hashtag.
But just quashing that viewpoint that we can't compete at the same level as other people, and having the medical rationale behind it,
Mm-hmm.
bringing that back in, I think could be really powerful.
Yeah, it's actually something that would work well, I think, for long term in these conversations, to bring in a professional to contribute. I think they would love to do that. The only reason why we have avoided bringing in a professional is, I think sometimes it can get really uncomfortable for I know you're confident. I thought it would get really uncomfortable if someone kind of went into a medical sort of conversation too deeply. But now that obviously we've had a lot of meetings, I think it would be great to progress them to bringing in someone to confirm what's been spoken about. And I like that. I like that idea. Faith, do you have any plans for dance classes, fitness?
Well, obviously everything's online at the moment, and I'm hoping to do some more online classes because they've given us an option to do that if we wanted to. And I really enjoy teaching as well. So I know that one day I do want to be a teacher, because when I was in high school, one of my teachers actually had alopecia, and she really helped me become more comfortable with my GCSEs. I had someone to talk to, would understand. So I think that was the main thing for me. But obviously that's more educational and high school side. But I think now going forwards, like I know that this year I wanted to do like the Tough Mudder and the colour run.
Yeah, that's amazing.
I would just love to. I just see it and I'm like, oh my gosh, those photos. Like,
Tough Mudder is tough though.
We should do a Tough Mudder alopecia team.
Yeah.
Yes.
I love
Leave
that.
organising to me.
Yeah, but I just think obviously at the moment there's not much going on. But I think obviously I just think it's just like putting yourself forward, and again just the confidence to take the next step to like do the Tough Mudder, or in the first place, is a massive step, because I know it's called Tough Mudder for a reason. And obviously the colour run is like it's always just that step to put yourself forward, especially when you don't want to wear a wig or anything. Again, it's having the confidence to do that. So I think as a community thing, if there was a group of us to go, I know for me that would really boost my confidence. Even though I am confident at the moment, it would boost it even more, and it would be so much more fun as well, because we'd all have a laugh. So yeah, but I agree with Miranda when she says when she said about bring the doctor or the medical in, because even sometimes I have questions and I was like, can I do that? Like, am I eating the right things? Am I drinking the right things? So, and I think there is always confusion sometimes. So yeah, because even when I've been to the dermatologist, they've been a bit taken back and can't answer a few of my questions. So, and they've always just kind of brushed it off and tried to answer it, and not really given me much clarity in that.
So Faith, even though you are confidently moving forward with your life, there's always that curiosity to find out what's going on with your body then.
Yeah, because
from what I'm hearing.
Yeah, because I still feel like there's other intolerances that I have that I don't know I have. Because I've had my blood checked again and everything's come back fine. And I was like, yeah, but I don't feel fine. So there's obviously something going on. And I just think, because I know autoimmune conditions come in pairs, and I feel like obviously I didn't know that until I went to check. Until I found out I had celiac disease, and I didn't know that for years. Whereas I would have gone, well, my mum would have taken me to look at that much sooner. But yeah, and again, at the start of COVID, I didn't even know if I was allowed to go to work or not. I didn't know if I was vulnerable or not. And I think it's just the uncertainty around, like don't categorize us, but where are we? You know, like what
Yeah.
really is going on. So yeah, really.
Obviously it's really, for me, I think, like the current, what we're in right now, you have to fight for your rights, whatever rights are. And I think maybe my approach is very is a very like change everything. I want change and I want it really fast. And you know, I've seen, having worked within the fashion industry, I have seen how hard it is to change people's minds and how unfair everything is, that, you know, everything is imposed upon you, whether it's perception. And so I think it's really nice that we're having these conversations. And if people in the medical fields watch this back, they will see what needs to be done. But I think what was important today is for us to kind of give people a bit of tips and ideas of what they could do. They shouldn't just feel like because they're in isolation they can't do exercises, they can't do fitness. Yasmin, what are you doing right now in isolation? I know you work for the NHS. What are you doing and what are you encouraging people to do to stay active, stay fit, and obviously, where can people find you if they wanted any PT tips? I know I've seen your Instagram, it's amazing.
Yeah.
So I mean, what are you doing during isolation? I know you have to go for work, but do you have time to do private classes online or?
Yeah, so right now everything I'm doing is online, so my clients and stuff are being done online. Luckily, after the first lockdown, I've got all my equipment, bought all the dumbbells and everything before everything went out of stock. But I think the most important thing is to realize that fitness isn't one thing. Fitness isn't weights. Fitness doesn't have to be gym. Like, there's so many different avenues. I think Miranda was saying it earlier, like you can do swimming, obviously not right now, but you can go out for a walk. That is fitness. That is something that to just tick off, you've gone for a walk today. You can do some yoga, you can do some body weight stuff. Like, there's not one route to fitness. Like, there's so many different avenues and you just have to find what the right one is for you. Just because the world of Instagram right now is all about weights and having to look a certain way, doesn't mean that you have to look that certain way. And I think it's kind of finding what your identity is. I know that I've struggled with it as well. I'm on Instagram at the moment. I've kind of taken a step back from it just because I was losing my path and kind of what I was trying to do. I think the Instagram right now is, okay, if you have to have a big bum and you have to look like this and you have to look a certain way. And if you get too caught up in the mix, you're going to feel like, if you're going to look at yourself in the mirror and be like, I don't look like that, so I'm not a fitness person. And I think I was getting into the mix of that. Being a fitness person myself, you can get caught up in the mix sometimes. So I think it's definitely important to get a book, write down what you want your goals to be, and don't let them be influenced by whatever you see somewhere else. Just let them be focused on you. And as long as that you're healthy and your fitness and your mental health is what the goal is, then that's absolutely fine. And you don't have to worry about what anyone else is doing.
Yeah, I think that's really, really good advice, because what I found is I'd set myself these goals that I must do 30 minutes of cardio and then 15 minutes of weights a day, or whatever they were, my goals. And then I've actually changed that this lockdown, because then I was fitting everything into slots, and then I wasn't able to like have fun with my kids. And now I've brought the fitness of into playing with my kids. So like the other day, my daughter was playing with a skipping rope. My goodness, that is the hardest thing to do. I haven't done that since I was a child, but skipping is hard. And my heart rate was at like 180 beats.
Do you wear them heart rate watches? Do you have one, Yasmin? I'll be surprised if you don't have one.
Mine broke, so I need to get a new one. Yeah.
I'll do the Apple plug here. Apple Watch is obviously the best.
Oh, yes.
No, but yeah, so fit, exactly, as Yasmin was saying, like fitness can be just playing with your kids and going on the trampoline. Again, another really, really hard one.
Hard thing, isn't it? Oh my God, it's dangerous, I think, for an adult to go on a trampoline. Find yourself outside it. Oh, how did I get here? So what's the difference between a regular fitness watch and an Apple one? Just so that I should know that. Does it tell you your heart rate and were you hungry? Tell you, oh yeah, are you hungry now? Okay, you're hungry now. Go on it.
No, they're all pretty much the same.
Well, it's been so nice to speak about exclusively about fitness, because I think there's a lot we could say, and I think this conversation needs to happen again, maybe with an expert in it or with more of an activity in it. And I think it would work, you know, especially with everyone here being very into sport. I know there's other women that would probably want to get involved if there was an activity involved. If the isolation goes on, I think we could arrange an activity as part of this conversation and test our watches. No, I don't have any, but just the people who have it. You know, just test and how much fitness how fit we are, and just have fun as well. But again, the scientific side of things, I think it would be nice to get someone who is specialized in hair loss and is actually well equipped to answer some of the questions of immune systems, which obviously are hard to just go into in a conversation. But thanks very much, girls, for coming. I'm glad I haven't kept you long today. It's so nice to see you guys. Like, again, I get really, after we finish the conversations, I get really like overwhelmed with positivity. I'm just like, oh my God, that was so nice. I don't know if it's isolation or I don't know what it is. I don't know if you feel like that after these conversations.
Yeah, I feel exactly the same. It's so nice to just have that human connection and people that understand where you're at too.
Yeah, so okay, so what's the next step from here? Anything concerning fitness? Is anyone going out to do any fitness today? I know I do my cycles with my son, and we've been having these big muddy paddles because we know we're not getting any snow here. We're getting a lot of rain, so I do my cycles as fitness. I used to do weights because I had a personal trainer, but that didn't go well because you have to follow the instructions and stuff. Is anyone doing any exercise today, plans for today, and what kind of exercise, just to finish, are you doing today? And then we're going to say bye to everyone.
Oh, I'm going out for a walk. I'm going to go and explore a new park because that's the only excitement we can get at the moment. that's my exercise.
Is that your thing, Yasmin? You're like, oh, I've been to that park, I need to try the next one.
Yeah, I think in the first lockdown I explored every inch of Greenwich Park every day. And after like the first month or so, me and my cousin were just like, we need to go to a new park because I saw that tree yesterday. I saw that one. Like, I've seen it all. Got to get a bit of new scenery in there.
That's a good one. I've never heard of that one. Let's explore a park. Oh my goodness. Faith?
We'll probably be going on a walk. So, because everyone, obviously I'm in student accommodation and it's a full accommodation at the moment. Everyone's here. So we do try do fitness classes together.
Oh, that's nice.
We've got a few weights and a few yoga mats. So we'll probably be going on a walk today at some point to get out. Because we're trying to walk every day just so we're not looking at the same four walls.
Do you tend to find that people actually think the same as well? It's almost like when you decide to have a cycle, everyone out there has gone for a cycle. When everyone's doing the same thing at the same time.
Mm-hmm. Especially when we go on walks, it's like I feel like I see everyone walking then. So it's like, why is everyone out? So yeah, I think it's just lockdown as well. Like people just trying to keep busy, so get fresh air.
Miranda, what after this? Are you skipping, trampoline, or?
I'll probably do some of that, but I do also. I'm going to take myself off for 45 minutes and I've got a Peloton spin bike. So I'll do one of those classes, and I put the music really loud.
Just zone out everyone else.
Yeah, is it BBC pre-recorded fitness songs?
Yeah.
I know we've got one here. It's really hard work because you have to put the thing in the levels, isn't it, of fitness, the intensity, don't you?
Yeah.
I can't do them. They're hard. And you go online as well, don't you, to compete with random people?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, girls, I'm going to stop recording, and